I would probably answer this different on a different day because it's quite a difficult question to figure out what the most important thing is. I think when you're first starting out in marketing and when you're first trying to get going and you're first trying to get started, I feel the two things that would make the biggest, obviously you need to understand your product and what you're selling and how you're selling and everything else so you can create your content and everything else. But one of the things that I always try to remind myself is that nobody gives a shit about me. Right? Okay, the customer cares about themselves, their problems, their issues, and solving their problems, and that is it. So I feel like probably to get the best results the fastest as a marketer, I think the first thing you need to focus on is a hook. Okay, so the first thing you need to focus on is actually becoming good at creating hooks. So if you're good at creating hooks, then you are in a situation where anything where anything that you've got, putting it out, because the internet's now available, whereas years ago it wasn't. But with the internet, if you can create a hook and get it out on social media and it gets people interested and it gets them curious and they want to know more, then you're going to drag people in. So creating a hook is probably the number one thing that a new marketer needs to really focus on, is looking at the product and saying, look, what is the number one hook? What's the biggest curiosity? What's the one thing that this solves that's going to enable my audience or my target customer, should I say, to look and think, I want to read more. And then I think the second most important thing is loops. Now, basically what I mean by a loop is, you see it on sitcoms all the time. So what happens is at the end of a sitcom, they leave you with a they call them cliffhangers, right? But it's just a loop that makes sure you come back next week to watch the next one, and they do it at the end of every single show. There's a reason they do it at the end of every single show, is that it gets you to come back the following week. It gets you to say, oh shit, right, I'm blocking that out in my diary, 7:30, next Friday, I'm going to watch the next one because I want to know the answer to the question. Now, if you can become good at creating a hook that gets people interested and gets them want to know what's going on, and then you can get people to actually consume all of your content. Your content doesn't have to be the best content in the world, but if somebody continues reading or continues watching because they want to know what's coming at the end, what's coming next, then I believe they're the two most important things for a brand new marketer kicking off, coming out, to be able to go from zero to start selling really quickly. Obviously, you need to understand customers. You need to understand nobody gives a shit about you, so make it about the customer, make it about fucking benefits over features, and there's tons and tons of other stuff, and then there's lots of little tricks you can use like scarcity and urgency and guarantees and things like that, which should be in every single marketing campaign. However, I feel like if nobody pays attention and you know all that stuff, you're the best at all that stuff in the world, but nobody pays attention because your hook's absolute crap, then you're not going to get anywhere. And I also feel that if you don't have a good loop that drags them from the front to the back end of your content, or you learn to create multiple loops throughout your content. So you open a loop and you don't close that loop until you've started a new loop. And then you're continually opening and closing loops throughout your content. So they're always like, okay, so if you stick around until the end, I'm going to show you this little thing that you know full well your target audience really wants to know the answer to. Okay. Or in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to reveal why such and such a person did such and such a thing on such and such a date. Let's say you're doing celebrity type gossip and things like that. So yes, hooks and loops, I think is the first two things to focus and concentrate on. Then obviously create marketing content that goes through and gives all the information, and then figure out all the other bits afterwards, obviously, because obviously your marketing content, whether it's done via word of mouth, whether it's done via a computer like this, or whether you sat in and you're writing it and you're doing sales copy, it's going to be shite at first. But you can learn to do really good hooks and really good loops very quickly, and that means people are going to pay attention, and it means people are going to consume your content, and they're the two most important things to making sales.